You're pretty.
Good. You hit on me. We can get it out of the way that I'm not interested.
Great. Let's talk more about this mind-numbing nonsense. Oh, wait a minute. I've got a better idea. Let's not.
It was supposed to be her triumphant return, the moment. Meghan Markle reclaimed Hollywood, brushed off the royal drama, and declared herself a leading actress once again. But instead...
So it's come to this. Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, is returning to acting. Reports are already coming in as to how this is already backfiring. Now she's going to be playing a film. Reports are it's all over the place.
Hollywood insiders are calling it a meltdown, a PR disaster. And in the words of one studio exec, it was the most chaotic set incident of the year.
Over on the Christmas special of Netflix's dreadful cooking dirge with Love Meghan, the self-styled domestic goddess is busy.
Yep, Meghan Markle's big acting comeback has officially detonated, and the leaked deleted scene is sending shockwaves across Hollywood. It's messier than anyone expected. The industry is buzzing non-stop. Directors whisper in private meetings, producers pace like predators in a cage, and casting agents quietly update their do not touch lists because that footage, the one Meghan allegedly demanded be scrubbed, burned, erased from every server, is now floating in inboxes across Los Angeles. From the very second the clip hit the underground Hollywood circuit, everything spiraled out of control, according to insiders who saw it firsthand. The deleted scene wasn't just awkward, it was a full-blown on-camera meltdown where Meghan completely lost control. Not in some Oscar-ready, tear-jerking way, but in a this could ruin your brand for a decade way. And what sparked it? One line, just one single, simple line of dialogue that Meghan apparently hated so much she stopped the entire production dead in its tracks. She marched off script and unleashed a tirade so long and explosive that crew members literally stopped rolling, unsure whether they were filming a meltdown or witnessing the first act of an HR investigation. But before we dive into that infamous deleted scene, already being called Hollywood's worst-kept secret,
sometimes you wonder if this calamitous woman ever does anything right. Meanwhile, over on the Christmas special of Netflix's dreadful cooking dirge with Love Meghan, the self-styled domestic goddess is busy.
Let's rewind a bit. Because Meghan's acting comeback didn't start with excitement, it started with suspicion and a mountain of side-eye from people who remembered the last time she stormed off a set. Sources say Meghan's team pitched this return as a bold, empowering reintroduction, a role crafted to make her look strong. In their words, it was emotionally resonant with modern women, but insiders claim the studio quickly realized that modern women apparently meant Meghan approves every single line herself. Meghan rewrites scenes, Meghan changes camera angles, Meghan negotiates lighting, and nothing, absolutely nothing, could show her as anything less than inspiring. One producer said bluntly, "You weren't directing Meghan, Meghan was directing you." That was the kind of energy she brought from the first day on set. The cast felt it immediately. Word around the production office was that some actors started calling the project the Meghan Markle self-love story behind her back because every tweak made her character more heroic, more glamorous, and more misunderstood by the world. Even the writers felt it. One insider said that by the third rewrite, it wasn't a script anymore. It was a shrine. Still, the studio pushed forward. Meghan brings headlines, eyeballs, social media storms. At least she used to. But there was one moment Meghan never saw coming. The scene that would eventually blow the entire production sky high. A dramatic confrontation between Meghan's character and another lead, designed to show vulnerability and depth. The original line was harmless, almost sweet. But when Meghan read it, she froze, stared, and calmly at first asked, "Why am I saying this?" The director tried to move on, explaining the line was essential for the emotional arc. But Meghan wasn't having it. She thought the line made her character look weak. She demanded it be changed immediately. The director refused. That was when everything cracked. Crew members describe a tense, electric silence, the kind of silence where everyone pretends to check their microphones, but is secretly thinking, "Oh God, here it comes." And then Meghan snapped. Not a quiet disagreement. Not a diva comment. No. A full-blown, red-faced, voice-shaking explosion. Sources say she accused the writers of sabotage, the director of undermining her authenticity, and the studio of weaponizing her vulnerability. She claimed the script was a trap. She demanded the entire scene be rewritten on the spot in front of the cast and crew, not later, not after lunch, not in notes. Right then and there, people on set were stunned. A studio exec watching remotely allegedly texted, "Is this a bit? Is she acting? What's happening?" But it wasn't acting. The cameras were still rolling as she blew up, and that meltdown footage, the part she begged the studio to delete, was captured, or so she thought. Here's where it really gets wild. The scene was deleted from official servers, but not before someone clipped it, saved it, and forwarded it to a trusted circle of colleagues. That trusted circle, apparently not so trustworthy. Within weeks, the clip made its way through private industry chats, Telegram groups, director threads, and underground Hollywood gossip chains where scandals ferment before exploding. Every major studio in LA had heard about it. Some execs even saw it firsthand. Others had screenshots and still frames. Everyone is whispering. Insiders say the clip isn't career-ending on its own, but it's reputation-shredding, brand-destroying, the exact opposite of the comeback Meghan wanted. One producer said bluntly, "If that clip ever goes public, it's over. The comeback dies before it even airs." After the meltdown, Meghan reportedly refused to film for the rest of the day. She left the set furious, shaken, and convinced she'd been wronged. Her team went into crisis mode immediately. Writers pulled into last-minute revisions overnight. Directors were summoned to discuss sensitivities. Producers were warned to be extremely strategic in their language. Some crew members even requested transfers to other productions. One walked off permanently. Then came the real shock. The studio halted production to reassess workflow and safety, weighing whether keeping Meghan was worth the chaos. And just when things couldn't get worse, that deleted scene leaked. The comeback wasn't just derailed, it was obliterated. The moment the scene started circulating behind closed doors, Meghan's entire comeback campaign began crumbling like a sandcastle in a hurricane. At first, the studio tried to play it cool. They issued soft denials, whispering that creative differences are normal, and insisted production was simply taking a scheduled recalibration break. Yeah, sure, Hollywood bought none of it because once a meltdown clip escapes a secure internal server, it's over, within hours. The footage wasn't just being passed privately, it was being dissected, paused, zoomed in on, sent to directors, producers, casting execs, talent managers. People were replaying it, frame by frame, sending screenshots, whispering notes to colleagues, and dissecting every reaction, every micro-expression. Everyone suddenly had an opinion about Meghan, and none of them were gentle. One director apparently responded to the clip with a single line, "Nope, not touching that vortex." Another wrote, "Why is she fighting the script like the script insulted her ancestors?" But the worst came from a major studio exec, someone who had once considered negotiating a deal with Meghan. This is why we say cameras don't lie. She showed us who she really is, and now the whole town knows. Every whisper, every look, every sigh captured on tape, they saw it all. That's when word reached Meghan's team, and that's when panic kicked into overdrive. The emails began flying, urgent, frantic, almost frantic enough to set servers on fire. Crisis consultants were brought in immediately. A specialist known for fixing celebrity reputations was seen rushing into Meghan's Montecito home, the same guy studios call when actors punch photographers, scream on set, or throw furniture across soundstages. He reportedly told her team the brutal truth. They didn't want to hear it. "We can't bury this. Someone wants this out." That line alone sent chills through her camp, because if someone wanted it out, that meant betrayal. Someone on the inside, someone with access, someone she trusted. And Meghan hates, absolutely despises, the idea of being outplayed. Her team immediately began hunting for the leak, pulling server logs, questioning staff, even threatening legal action in private messages. But while they were busy chasing shadows, Hollywood was already moving on. Hollywood was already moving on to the part Meghan feared most. At CAA, agents started murmuring about how volatile she seemed. At WME, coordinators whispered that she was impossible to direct. At Netflix's offices in LA, one showrunner joked, "She wants to run the set, then let her fund the show herself." By the next morning, half the industry had formed an opinion, based not on the comeback project, But on the clip, Meghan had spent 5 years trying to craft an image of professionalism, elegance, empowerment, calmness, and poise. And in 2 minutes of chaotic footage, one bad moment, she erased it. Worst of all, the clip wasn't even the most damaging part. The conversations around it were, because now people were asking questions she couldn't afford to trend. Is she difficult? Is she unstable? Does she sabotage her own projects? Why does drama follow her everywhere? For an actress re-entering Hollywood, the rumor mill is far more destructive than any video. Whispers become narratives, narratives become cautionary tales, and cautionary tales become casting blacklists. 2 days into the chaos, the studio behind Meghan's comeback hosted an emergency summit in a glass-walled conference room. 12 executives, 3 lawyers, and a PR rep who looked like they'd been awake for 40 hours sat around the table. They had one agenda item: what do we do about Meghan? Some argued they needed to recast. Others warned that firing her would turn the public against the studio. A smaller, quieter group argued they should scrap the entire project, cut losses, walk away. And then someone said what everyone was thinking, but no one wanted to voice aloud. If she melts down like this in episode 1, what's she going to do by episode 6? Silence. Awkward, loaded silence. By the end of the meeting, nothing was decided publicly, at least, but privately, plans were already in motion. Multiple insiders say the studio began drafting alternative strategies, and none of those strategies looked good for Meghan. Just as Meghan's team began preparing their carefully packaged comeback statement, an emotional, self-reflective, I stand for creative integrity speech, something else dropped into the rumor pool. Something bigger, something uglier, something that made the meltdown look like a warm-up. Remember the crew member who quietly left the production during the meltdown day? Well, word is that person didn't just walk away. They walked straight into a meeting with another studio and told them everything. That studio passed it on to someone else. Then someone else passed it to a reporter. They owed a favor. Suddenly, tabloids began sniffing around, not about the deleted footage. No, worse. They were asking about Meghan's behavior during the first week of filming, asking if she shut down scenes, asked if she threatened to walk, if she refused direction from male staff, if she rewrote emotional beats to avoid vulnerability. All the things the studio had desperately tried to keep quiet were now shimmering just below the surface, ready to erupt in the press. Meghan's team scrambled, of course. Lawyers drafted warnings, publicists drafted counterstatements, assistants began prepping, damage control, press tours, but none of it mattered. Because while they were planning to spin the story was already spinning without them. Sources say Meghan, furious and humiliated, insisted on taking control of the crisis herself. She told her team in a long, heated call that she wanted to address the rumors directly, not with a soft interview, not with a polished statement. No, she wanted a video, a personal message filmed from her home office. Raw, emotional, defiant, authentic. Her team begged her not to, warned her emotions were too high, told her the internet was already sharpening its knives. She didn't care. She wanted to set the record straight. She wanted to tell her truth. She wanted to shut this down once and for all. She turned on the camera. She hit record. And well, let's just say the reaction wasn't what she hoped. Now, she is back in square one. If you want to keep up with every shocking development in this wild Hollywood saga, smash that like button, subscribe, share this story with everyone, and drop your thoughts in the comments below.